so much for joining our webinar. Um, you know, tonight is one of the most significant nights in the Jewish calendar. We all know Rosh Hashanah is the anniversary of the creation of man. But 6 days before that, tonight and tomorrow, on the 25th of Elul, God started to create the entire world. So tonight and tomorrow is really the first day of creation. Why did God create this world? That ultimately godliness will be absolutely revealed in this world. There's going to be a time where godliness will be revealed. There will be no more wars and no more suffering and no more sickness, no more pandemics. Godliness will be absolutely revealed. The first, who's going to achieve that? Mashiach. Mashiach is going to come and bring peace to the entire world and godliness revealed. The first steps, the first prediction of the coming of Mashiach is when the world will make peace with Israel, when the world will acknowledge that Israel belongs to the Jewish people. 1,000 years ago, Rashi wrote, the famous commentator Rashi wrote, he said, one day the non-Jews are going to come to, the nations of the world are going to come and say, we stole Israel. And we will say that God created the world and he gave Israel to us. What's happened in the last few weeks in the Middle East is nothing short of miraculous in my view. The peace between Israel and the UAE and now with Bahrain, it's unbelievable. So it's very special times, and please God, this should be the beginning of the revelation of Mashiach. Now there's a young rabbi stationed in Dubai, Rabbi Levi Duchman, our very special guest this evening. So Rabbi Duchman, firstly, thank you for joining us and thank you for agreeing to spend some time and telling us and share with us some thoughts. So firstly, I'm going to ask you the first question. How long have you been in Dubai? When did you get there? Tell us a little bit about Dubai, the Jewish community there. Let's start with that.
Okay, good evening. First of all, thank you very, very much for giving me this opportunity. It's a great merit to speak to everyone. I'm assuming majority are sitting in South Africa, so it's very exciting to speak with you. So just to introduce myself quickly, my name is Rabbi Levi Duchman. I am originally from New York, and that's where I grew up. And I live here in the United Arab Emirates for the past 6 years. I'm a rabbi here. We have the only rabbi living in the United Arab Emirates all this time, and it's been quite a interesting past few years, and looking forward to giving you guys a small glimpse and telling you guys all about it.
Levi, the sound was bad. How long have you been living in Dubai?
For 6 years.
6 years?
Yes.
And you got there to be the Chabad rabbi there. Just tell us about that.
So I was, before living in the United Arab Emirates, do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So before living in the United Arab Emirates, I was living in Morocco. And Morocco is the first place where the Rebbe sent the Chabad Shliach to Morocco. And I was living there helping out with the youth. I have a sister and brother-in-law that are rabbis, that are the rabbi there. So I was helping them there. And from Morocco, spending time in the region, it brought us to get in contact with some people here in the Gulf region. Actually, before United Arab Emirates, it was to Bahrain. We got in touch with some of the community members there, and then we got in touch with the community members in the United Arab Emirates, and until slowly got in touch with more of the
you're freezing. Hello?
Yes.
Maybe I'm going to ask you, go off and come back on. Oh, no, you're on. Okay, you're on. So you got in touch with the community members first in Bahrain.
Yes.
Come back to Bahrain.
Yes.
So you got how big is the community in Dubai?
In Dubai, we have a few hundred Jews living here. And we have as well a nice Jewish community in Abu Dhabi. Dubai and Abu Dhabi is about an hour drive away from each other, from one place to the next. And we have, the community is Jews from all around the world. Literally, we have Jews from South Africa, Jews from Europe, Jews from America, Jews from the Maghrib. So we have quite a nice variety of Jews from literally all around the world.
But was there a Jewish community of like a Persian community, or Iranian community that were there for thousands of years?
So no, there wasn't. The UAE is quite new itself. It was about 50. It was sand. It's a desert. But you do have some, recently they found some history in a place called Ras Al Khaimah, in the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah. They found the old grave, but you don't have a long Jewish history of the Jewish people here in the UAE. I would say for the past 30 or 40 years is when Jewish businessmen or professors or doctors would come to the UAE.
And was there, you've been there for 6 years. I mean, there must have been a bit of hostility. Did you always feel safe? Is there, I can't use the word anti-Semitism, but is there an anti-Jewish feeling there?
So no, not at all. It's the United Arab Emirates is quite an amazing place, thanks to the rulers of the country, His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed and Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, and the ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid. The UAE is a really tolerant place. They push really tolerance and coexistence. So never once in my 6 years here have I ever had a problem. And quite on the contrary, we have very good relationships with the local Muslim community, with the Emirati community. We get along very well with each other. I don't think I ever met a Jew either that ever had a problem. It's a very open, nice society. If anyone was ever here, they would know what I'm saying. Usually if people say, Dubai is scary, that means they were never there. Because anyone that actually comes to the UAE, they see what type of really open and special place it is.
And I mean, do you live in a secure complex? Is there security?
So where we are situated, we have the JCC, the Jewish Community Center. Yes, we do have a doorman, 24-hour security. That is because we have and this will be going in, we have a gan for children. So we have a lot of children here, and we have a lot of people coming in and out. So obviously, naturally, we would have security, but I wouldn't say we ever have any threat for anything to happen.
So I saw a picture of a shul with the Rebbe on one side and the UAE leaders on. Is that your shul?
Yes, that's where I'm just sitting next door from there. Usually I like to do my the Zoom calls out there to show people a little bit of the shul, but I am blessed that we currently have 6 intern rabbis that came to the UAE since the opening, and we'll get into once we discuss what changed with the normalization of ties between Israel and the UAE. So part of it is bringing in a whole new team of rabbis to help out with the community, help out with the tourists, help the government with the different changes, because everything is changing so quickly.
Let's just go back to the 6 rabbis.
Yes.
6 young shluchim. 6
young shluchim, 6 bachrim that are almost finished smicha, so they're just about ordained or about to be ordained, or we're just ordained. And we brought them here together with, we working together with the local Emiratis, and we said we would like to bring some young rabbis to come to the UAE, for them to feel the UAE, feel the Jewish community in the UAE, spend time here and learn from the community, as well give to the community. And like that, when they go back to their home countries, they could be almost our ambassador for our communities and for the UAE, showing them that, yes, I've been to the UAE. There's a beautiful community. There's a beautiful Talmud Torah for children. We have a kosher shechita. So it's really, really amazing. And it used to be so the shechet, we have a shechet that was trained in Australia. He's my brother, Mendel.
And he's with you there.
So he comes quite often. And then you have the boys here, that the other bachim here that just arrived a few weeks ago.
Amazing. Okay, so tell us now the changes between what happened between the peace, before peace, and there. What are the changes, and what is the government doing?
Okay. So let me give you a little bit of history. So it used to be, I guess, in the beginning of 2000 or something, if someone would offer you a job in Dubai, you would say, what would a Jewish boy or girl have in Dubai? Most people with any affiliation to Judaism wouldn't move here. You would have Jews here that moved here independently. They figured that their Judaism is strong enough without a synagogue, without a Jewish community, but it was very, very limited. Until slowly, people started gathering in people's apartments, in different homes, until the community started growing. And then people heard that once there's a community, they're like, oh, there's a community, we could move. And all of a sudden, the growth of the community started growing more and more and more. And every single year, our communities actually keeps on growing from all the people that until now they thought it was the impossible for them to live in the UAE and to have a shul, to have kosher, to have education for the children. And now that you have that, of course, there's more opportunity, and our community is growing. So let's talk up until the peace. What did we have? What was the dynamics of our community? We had a nice community, very, very well respected by the government, recognized by the government. The government would support us with whatever we need, whether it's for our kosher chicken or kosher import or bringing in books, whatever it was, kosher wine, anything that a Jewish community needs. We really had that, and we managed to build the full infrastructure. We had a kosher restaurant in the Burj Khalifa, which is the world's tallest building, inside a kosher restaurant. And we really had everything. There was no major, I wouldn't say anything in specific that our community was missing, as we are lucky to have the special hosts. But when it did open, it opened up a whole, on August 13th, when the announcement of the normalization between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, everything changed. Literally, we used to have a minyan every Shabbat. We would have maybe 40, 50 people coming. Okay, it was nice thing. But during the week, you couldn't get anyone to come to shul. Now we have a daily minyan. Every morning we have a minyan for Shachris. We're already looking to find new locations. So the community has grown tremendously. The UAE is encouraging their F&B, their food and beverage, to implement kosher laws in hotels. They're encouraging the hotels to offer kosher. They're encouraging restaurants to offer kosher. So we have been working closely with the UAE government, helping them with the kosher establishments, helping them with the different things. And in general, things have been helping the different Israeli delegations coming. It's been quite interesting.
I saw that you had a Zoom call with Prime Minister Netanyahu.
Yes.
I saw the pictures of it.
Yes. So we had a Zoom call. Prime Minister Netanyahu has reached out to the different leaders of the Jewish communities, and he asked to wish us a Shabbat Shalom right during the call. And it was something actually really, really nice, really special. And he's the one that mentioned, and he says that what was special about our community is that a lot of times when the governments could get together is one thing, but to have the groundwork and the community a few years before working together with the local authorities and slowly building up Yiddishkeit is definitely something which glues and brings together the two countries much better and much greater. And as we see, right when the delegations have been coming, they really have everything. They have their kosher food ready, they have shuls ready, so the infrastructure is here.
And wow, that's amazing. I want to jump for a minute. So is there anything else you want to tell us about Dubai, about the UAE?
We'll be here I'm happy. No, is there anything else?
Let's jump for a minute to Bahrain.
Okay.
How many Jews live in Bahrain?
So in Bahrain, the number of Jews is unknown, especially there's a large American Navy base there where you have many Jewish expats. But what's special about Bahrain is you have a local Jewish community, and you have a Jewish cemetery there, and you have a synagogue there, which is actually currently under refurbishment. The people say the Jewish local Bahraini that hold Bahraini nationalities, passports some will tell you 30, 40, 50, but not too big. But you have a lot of expats there, Jewish expats there, living there, working there. So you have quite a nice community there as well.
So now somebody's asking here. There's a South African by the name of Ross Creel.
Yes.
So what's your relation?
So we have yes, we have actually many South Africans here. South Africans like Dubai. I think it's because of the weather. Russ Creel heads a Jewish community called, which is a villa, which is the other side of Dubai. Yes, of course, we have a very nice relationship with him. We always love the South
So there are two
Africans.
shuls.
Yes.
Okay.
In Dubai, you have two shuls, and then you have in Abu Dhabi as well.
And who runs up? Is there Rabbi in Abu Dhabi?
So I go to Abu Dhabi. We have a Talmud Torah there twice a week, which I go to, and we have other rabbis coming to town and rotating to assist the community there. Dubai is a big emirate. So
again, how many Jews live in Dubai and how many in Abu Dhabi?
I would say well over 1,000 in each one.
Oh, that's a lot of Jewish people.
Yes.
Okay,
and now there will be more.
Just share with us one or two personal stories.
One or two personal stories. So while I was, this is a very nice story. While I was living in Morocco, I started studying Arabic. Today I read and write and speak Arabic. It's very useful living in Morocco and as well here in the UAE. And I was signing up to this Arabic academy, which was quite an advanced one. And in order to sign up, you have to go through an interview with the headmaster. This was actually an Egyptian school. So I set up this interview on Zoom. It was before Zoom, was Skype. It was a Skype call, an interview with this headmaster. And I'm all prepared, did my studies before, getting ready to get my Arabic to see if I could get into the class, getting all prepared. And the first question, I'm sitting there, the the headmaster asks me, blew me away. She asks, she's like, "Are you Chabad?" I'm like, "What? You're an Arabic teacher. What do you know about Chabad?" And she explained to me that she was a girl from the West Coast, a Jewish girl that left her family and she moved to Egypt, and she spent a lot of time in Egypt until she ultimately married an Egyptian man. And she opened up a school teaching Arabic. So we went on we had a nice conversation together. And then at the end, I'm like, "By the way, you light Shabbat candles?" So she says, "Wow, this is the first time an Arabic student of mine is asking me if I light Shabbat candles." So I said, "Well, it's my first time an Arabic teacher is asking me if I'm Chabad." So we ended up building a very nice relationship, and she actually went back to her family and she lights Shabbat candles every week, and she became part of our community of the Middle East. We have, besides the communities in Dubai, we have the network of people that spend a lot of time in Dubai, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Egypt. So we have, it was very nice story. It was a nice story which happened. And in general, every day we have exciting stories here. I think you're on mute.
Jump to Morocco for a minute. How many Jews live in Morocco?
So Morocco used to have 500,000 Jews living there, and now they have 5,000 Jews. The Jews primarily live in a city called Casablanca and a city Rabat and Marrakesh. 3 cities, I would say, you have majority of the Jews, and you have many Jewish tourists, as there are over 500 tzaddikim buried in Morocco. So many of the Sephardim with Moroccan heritage go there for Hilulah and different events. So Morocco has quite a large, a lot of Jewish tourists, and they just announced, if anyone's following the news, that they're starting direct flights from Morocco to Israel, which is also very exciting.
But there's no relationship between. There's no formal relations.
No, they do issue visas for Israeli passports. It's something that we didn't have here in the UAE, and they did do in Morocco, but no, there's no formal relations yet.
Have you traveled to places like Saudi?
Yes, I've been to Dhukman and to.
And the feeling there is there hostility, or there's?
Look, I never feel. Pardon?
Is it as open as the UAE?
No, I don't know if as open. It's a different society there, the Saudi and UAE. But yes, it's also is a very nice, not hostile. The Saudis are very kind people. They all respect our religion. They respect us for who we are. So no, I never had any issues ever.
Is there a Jewish community there?
So you do have, at one point you had many Jews working for the large Saudi company called Saudi Aramco, which is in Dammam, which is about an hour drive over the bridge from Bahrain, from Manama. So you did, I wouldn't say like a proper Jewish community, but yes, you did have those gathering for Shabbat and for this, but not a local, obviously not a local Jewish community, it was primarily expats.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely. So they're talking of other countries, come your prediction of here, they talk about other countries starting to make peace with Israel. Who's next in your view?
Who's next? Well, I'm sure there's going to be a few. They're saying that Oman, and again, the Omanis always had a nice relationship with Israel. I think last or 2 years ago, Prime Minister Netanyahu even went to visit Oman without any formal relationships to Oman, and there's a nice Jewish community there as well. You have, I think most of the Gulf countries are going to slowly, there's a lot of mutual benefits for the peace between Israel. It's not just the peace, it's good for the people, it's good for business, it's good for humanity. So I think people in this region, they came to a point where they just want to live together, live in harmony, have a good time, and find really what we have in common, instead of focusing on our differences.
I've been to the airport there a few times, and I actually always used to see products with Hebrew writing on. Pringles would have, were the Israeli companies established there before
Where?
peace?
Where?
Where you are in UAE.
Dubai?
Yeah.
So you had Israeli companies established via their partners in Europe or other countries, but no, you weren't, before the establishment, you were unable to have an official Israeli company established in the United Arab Emirates. They sold product to the United Arab Emirates via other countries, but you were never allowed to actually have your own Israeli company opened in the UAE.
And I see somebody's asking here. Let's see the questions coming in. How do you feel personally about being right in the middle of history unfolding?
So this is a very, very good question. Whoever's asking this question, it's quite interesting. I am very thankful and grateful to our wonderful community. So the community is really here to assist and to help, and just to see how the community, when all the tourists are coming in and people need different help and people need assistance and other Jews want to come open up businesses here, and to see our community to open up their heart, to open up their home, open up their connections, open up everything to help the other Jews, for me is amazing to see how nice the community is and how excited they are. And this is not only the Jewish community, it's the Emirati community as well. Many local friends has called me and says, Levi, if you know any Israeli companies that want to come open, I'm happy to help them, just so they should feel comfortable. They should be able to be set up in the proper way. So for me, this is something which is very, very special to see. And as well, I'm grateful to like I mentioned earlier, the intern rabbis that came to help out, because without them, it would really be impossible. Everything about our community changed since this agreement between Israel and the UAE, from the quantities to the moods of the people, just everything, and it's amazing to see.
Let me ask you as follows: you have in your Talmud Torah in your school, for what class is it?
So for children education right now, we have two programs. We have something called the Gan, which is a daily kindergarten nursery where children come. So we just started this actually this year. So we have our first class. So we have about 10 children in that, and they come every day, and this is their only school that they attend. Then we have the Talmud Torah, which is the Sunday school. Maybe you guys would call that a cheder, where they would call in some places. And there we have about 40 children between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. It's, I would say, from the age of 4 or 5 until bar and bat mitzvah.
Are there Jewish teenagers there?
There are a few teenagers, not much. Not only, so this is not something that Jewish teenagers and no Jewish teenagers. There's not that many teenagers in the UAE. Many families, once their children reach a certain age, they prefer that for them to go back to their hometown to go through high school or to,
What are your so what are you so you've got a gun with 10 kids, you've got 40 kids in your cheder, in your Talmud Torah. So what are your plans? Give us your plans for the next 3 years.
So what were our plans or what are our plans now?
What are your
So
plans now?
we completely, in the past few weeks, like I mentioned before, we completely outgrew everything. From having a nice crowd on Shabbat, we have daily minyanim, everyday minyan, everyday breakfast. So things really grew tremendously. We will continue this internship program, which I thought would just be for 5 weeks. We're going to continue it throughout the year and bring even more intern rabbis to come. We think it's important. I've been encouraged as well by the local authorities to do this. They think it's nice for the boys to go back and to speak about the UAE and speak about their good experiences. So that's something a focus. We're going to be very focused on developing the children education. I feel that people will be moving here, and this is important for there to be a good Jewish education, good for all ages. Child can come, learn about the weekly parsha, learn about the chagim, prepare themselves for a bar bat mitzvah. So that is something very, very important for us. And as well, we have to make sure Hachnasat Archim, the name of this accord is the Abrahamic Accord. So we learned from Avraham about having Hachnasat Archim and of course about helping the tourists. I believe we're going to have tens of thousands of tourists over the next bit of time. And it's important for our community to be there for them, to make sure they have a place to eat for Shabbat, to make
How
sure.
far are you from the airport?
How far am I there? We live about 15-minute drive from the airport.
And hold it, just go through kashrut in the hotels. I read that article that they've asked the hotels to have kashrut. Is that going to happen in all the hotels?
No. So the article the Department of Tourism of Abu Dhabi has reached out to their hotels and encouraged them to offer kosher options. So either a hotel could designate a kitchen, which would be specially for kosher, or a hotel could designate a kitchen, or a hotel could designate a kosher menu. So what I've been doing is over the past few days, and with the help of our intern rabbis, have been going to the different hotels and explaining them a little bit more how to actually practically implement to please your kosher guest. So whether it's having kosher snacks with a hechsher on it, with a kosher certification on it, designated a kitchen for events or for different seasons, or having meals which you could prepare, frozen meals which you could reheat. So we were going through them, the different options. One of the very, very big hotels in Abu Dhabi, which is called Emirates Palace. It's the very, very important hotel, and this is the hotel. I think when different heads of states come to Abu Dhabi, they stay there. We just established a full kosher kitchen there, so which is quite exciting. So over there they have one kitchen which is completely designated for kosher.
So I must tell you, because it's such a great connecting place, a lot of people fly all over the world through there. So here's a guy, a Kimberly Russ, writes to you as follows: Hi, Rabbi Levi. He's in Abu Dhabi, and he says, thank you for everything you're doing. He says he wants to know if you're still visiting there during COVID. He works in F&B in the hotel industry, and by governmental standard, yes, we now have to offer fully kosher options.
So this is so.
Is that also in Dubai, by the way?
Kimberly Russ, first of all, very, very nice to meet you over Zoom. And thank you, Chabad Zoom, for allowing us to Russ Harwitz. Okay, so first, very, very nice to meet you over Zoom. This is exciting. There's always sometimes it brings South Africa to put the Jews in Abu Dhabi together. So thank you very much. Yes, I still come to Abu Dhabi. I was just in Abu Dhabi earlier today. I just got back from Abu Dhabi. In Abu Dhabi, we have having a lot of exciting updates with our shul in Abu Dhabi and with the kosher food in Abu Dhabi. I will send you my information right after. I will send you a private message with my information. But thank you very, very much for reaching out.
So Kashrus, you're busy working on. You're getting the whole place. You're getting the whole place organized over there.
Yes.
I do think you're going to get a lot of South African visitors going through. As people fly to Australia through there, or fly to Europe or America, a lot of people do that.
Yes, so we do. So yes, so we do have. We will have a lot of. We do already have a lot of South African visitors. We already have a lot of South Africans living here. And of course, and we are ready to have all the South Africans. Baruch haba. Ahlan wa sahlan.
What do the South Africans do there, by and large?
All different things. So we have some teachers. There's some lawyers. What else? South Africa. Yeah, professionals.
Okay, beautiful. So it's been absolutely intriguing. Let's hear some closing remarks from you.
So first of all, this is quite amazing that we just got to meet another Jew living in Abu Dhabi via this call. So that's, first of all, it's very, very exciting. The closing remarks is from the past 6 years spending time here in the UAE and in the Gulf region in general, being the only rabbi living here on the ground. I find that that currently we are really, really living in a special time now. And like many of our Emirati friends say, it's a new era, a new time where you have these relationships with Israel and our neighbors. And it's something very, very special, something very exciting. And I truly believe that the UAE will have a lot more Jews moving here, a lot more Jews visiting here. And I tell you that from my experience working with the government and working with the authorities, they genuinely welcome everyone. They will genuinely ensure that everyone has everything they need. And they are, like we say here in the UAE, they are, inshallah, looking forward to seeing everyone to come visit.
Okay, but just before, I've got a few more questions came in over here. Number one, Rabbi, did you meet Jared Kushner recently when he was in town?
Yes, so he did come. He did join when the delegation came from Israel and Abu Dhabi. He did not come to Dubai.
Did you meet him in Abu Dhabi?
Did I meet him in Abu Dhabi? We didn't have a private audience together, but yes, he was by the conference setup. We both joined the same conference.
And somebody wants to know, what is the attitude of Qatar with respect to the new situation?
What is the what?
I just read Qatar. Qatar.
Oh, I don't know. We don't get involved in the politics.
I want to know that. And then, what is your ability to speak? Please speak more about your ability to speak Arabic.
Arabic has a lot of different. Arabic has a lot of different dialects. So I speak the Moroccan dialect, and I speak now the local Emirati dialect. It's called Ramsa al-Emirati.
So maybe it has been absolutely intriguing listening to you, and we want to take this opportunity to wish you a miraculous sweet year. Should be inscribed and sealed for a good sweet year, and we should have the ultimate bracha of all, that Yidden throughout Golus, Yidden throughout exile, Mashiach should come, and there should be peace for everybody. Just one more question.
Amen, amen.
Rabbi Pope wants to know, do UAE people express an interest to travel to Israel?
Yes, very, very much so. You'll have a lot of Emirati tourists going to Israel.
Okay, beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. It was intriguing, really. Thank you, and thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and all the best. We'll see you guys. Shana Tova. I'm wishing everyone a happy, healthy, sweet New Year. All the best.